Welcome to the Professor GV Show, where you learn success through stories. Today, we have something really, really special for you. With me today is Mr. Anil Sharma. क्या बोलूं अनिल जी के बारे में? Now let me tell you, he's an entrepreneur. He's a visionary. He's an investor. He's an advisor. He's a strategist who's built empires, empires from startups, empires of innovative businesses out with his own hands, hard work and grit. He's a magician who turns things into gold. So it's my absolute honor and pleasure to welcome you once again, Anilji, to the Professor GV Show.
Thank you, Gaurav, and my pleasure to be part of this coming and honor to be here with you. And you said a lot of big words for me. I'm a humble person who just trying to be do what I can do, and
it's this humbleness that he said yes to a small show like us. I was in a flight with him from Hyderabad to Chandigarh, and we had a layover at Ahmedabad. And we happened to be at a lounge together, and I requested Anilji to please spare some time for our show, and there you are. Thank you once again, sir. So let's start with that story that built Mr. Anil Sharma into Mr. Anil Sharma. What is that story? Where did it all start, sir? Could you tell us something about your childhood, upbringing? Where did you start from?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. We'll start. Came from a humble background, a lower middle class family with we're 6 siblings. I'm the youngest, second to the youngest. My dad was in Tribune, not a journalist, but more a blue collar job. I was born in Ambala, moved to Chandigarh when I was 7 months old.
Wow.
so grew up in Chandigarh, or Tri-City call it. So I love this place. Grew with of course, the challenges of any lower middle class, 6 siblings. I saw my dad working very hard, honestly, all my life. Putting 12 to 16 hours was normal for him. I think that's one attribute I got. I must say that hard work from him, and saw my mom taking care of us and taking care of Sil with that. Lot of others any time, like we used to live in colony. Around there,
Malia,
Tribune colony. Oh, yeah, that's why I Sector 29. That's where I grew up.
Wow.
My childhood, my young age. So I saw her helping others all the time, and that's another attribute I got from my mom. The love and giving back.
So you got hard work and grit from your father by watching your father toil hard, in Tribune, and he was working hard, putting in hours, and you had your mother to thank for the attitude of giving back, helping others.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They love helping others and giving back. Even within that, with humble background, she's always there to give.
Wow.
Means, again, this is a colony man, the labor working, Mali working. She said, "Okay, come." So the evening teas are at our home or somewhere. Lunch are with us. So and it's still there. So those are the kind of a environment I grew up, and of course
that's wonderful, sir. That's wonderful. Then what happened next? You were with 6 siblings growing up. Where did you go to school there?
So from there, of course, studied within Chandigarh, the Tribune school, let's say, till elementary, then go to Dev Smaj, till middle and Motiram.
Wow.
27, I did my high schooling there, and from there, of course, every stage has a learning. Of course, that's what I believe. Even today, there's always a learning. And from there, I went to DAV College, Sector 10.
Sector 10.
Yeah, so spent a good time there. So a good time, and I graduated from DAV, Punjab University, and then from there I went to Thapa.
Oh, you graduated and then went to Thailand?
Yeah, Thapa. I actually am a master's in computer science, MCA.
Ah, so you went for your master's
Yeah,
to Thailand.
yeah.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
so I did masters in computer application. So MCA now, of course, it's a well-known, very popular, but our was the second batch in whole India
Wow.
for the MCA. MCA was that time starting. Computers, the NIT was very new to India that
Yes,
time.
yes.
I'm talking about 86.
Wow.
So, I'm that old.
You don't look old at all, sir. Yes.
So that time, IT, computer science, even I wasn't aware, to be honest, when I applied for Thapar, went through the testing process, and so this was just the second batch of MCA. And in northern area, only two places, Thapar and Kurukshetra University.
So I'm intrigued. When it was so new, what was that, that kind of the thought process? Who nudged you? Because I remember, like, my father wanted to do, wanted me to do electronics, and he was the one nudging me. Who was the person who nudged you towards computer science? Because it was very new at that time.
Of course, I think a lot of it was research, and I must say, my elder brother who's here with me, he also helped me to get in there. I was, again, I was the first graduate in the family, to be honest, that time, and I was the first postgraduate in the family, and
There you go.
the first one and only sibling who
On the road.
went to the road.
Wonderful.
Of course, so that, so from there, went to Thapar and did the masters. Again, it was a new thing, computer science. Thapar, of course, now it was a big name even at that time, but the infrastructure.
It's one of the prime institutions now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Always it has been.
yeah, and infrastructure computer science was new, so.
You were working on X86 or something like that?
386,
386.
386, and that time there was a small BBC micro, which we, rather than study, we used to play the games.
The bricks
the
game.
bricks
The
and the
bricks
pack-
game,
pack-
I remember.
Yeah.
I'm not too young.
So spent good time in Thapar, and again, so that was our schooling and the college, I must say.
And then what happened? How did you go from there to having over 6,000 employees, a $500 million revenue business? How did you change as a person? What changed in your life that gave you that the inflection point in your life, if I can say?
So part of my MCA, the last semester, is the training. So I did training at here Panchkula, HSCB, Haryana State Electricity Board. Developed a payroll software for them, which I'm proud. I think they're still using that.
Oh, they're
software.
still using the
Yeah,
payroll
yeah,
software that you made?
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
And from there, while doing that, I met one entrepreneur. He was a small software company developing the software. So worked with him. That's where I think that entrepreneur key, you said, right? That bug comes
yes,
that, okay, there is something. I worked with him, support him developing some software. But then I graduate, and that time IT was boom. I won't say booming, but it was starting up.
Yes.
The central government started a new initiative they call NIC, NICNET, I think it's still there.
NICNET.
Yeah.
Okay.
So NIC was the first organization, it's part of Department of Electronics, I think, still under center. So they to spread up the IT, they set up offices in every single district of India.
Wow.
And their own internet, they call satellite-based internet, they call NICNET. So satellite, they put satellite
And
in
that in 1990s we're talking.
89.
89.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
we had a satellite system. Oh wow.
Yeah, so they were hiring the people mass. So we went through before even get my degree, went through the test and got the first, we call it in India, that government officer job. So I was, fortunately, since they were hiring for all over India, fortunately I got in Chandigarh. So I was the first district informatic officer of Chandigarh.
Wow,
So,
wonderful.
thank you.
Wonderful.
So I was responsible to set up the IT in Chandigarh. Set up first office in Sector 17 Estate Office. Worked with that time Deputy Commissioner Mr. Khandelwal and few others. He was very like a
Very nice.
great officer. So that time again DIO was a power thing. I got that in India called Lal Bati, kind of a SDM powers and
The
all.
power.
But goal was to spread of the IT within Chandigarh. So we did some automation. It was hard because people weren't aware of IT or they didn't want even to go IT. Developed some software for driving license
Oh.
and the driving motor vehicle
So
registration.
you're actually behind, the entire foundation of infrastructure,
In Chandigarh.
IT infrastructure in Chandigarh.
Yeah,
Amazing.
That's how I started my career.
Mhm.
And again, the government job we were doing it did create things there, but that's not something which I was like. For me, it was too slow. Probably that's what I would say. It was
You
slow.
had that bug, right?
Yeah, I
The
had that bug.
entrepreneurship bug.
Yeah. So along with that, then I started doing few other things in parallel, developing software. So I developed a financial accounting software.
Wow.
And in parallel to that, and implement that time we implemented close to 60 chartered accountant in Chandigarh who were using my software.
Wow.
And so as a financial accounting, and someone told me there are 2 or 3 still using same software with enhancement because I hand over to one of the guy who used to work for me. He did enhancement, but they are using it. So that was going in parallel while I was doing the government.
So when did Mr. Anil Sharma from a government, a very cushiony, red lights, powerful government position, you moved on to entrepreneurship? When was that?
So part of this, one of my college senior and also colleague in NIC, he left to US 92 for his masters and all. His name is Satvinder. I think he's like elder brother for me. So he left and I was doing all this, doing the government jobs, doing some entrepreneurs in parallel.
Financial accounting software.
Yeah. So and then he keep calling me. At that time Y2K was coming, IT was start booming.
Yes.
I'd say like 95 by that time. So I worked here. So he said, Anil, don't waste your time, come to US. So I said, I'm happy here. So he convinced me that no, come to US. And then finally 97, I decided that okay, time and some people. So I decided to relocate to US.
What did you go there with? Did you have a lot of money by then?
So that story, as I said, the background is same from the family. Yes, working government was good, but still it was enough for the family. So I went there with $100 in my pocket.
Oh my
So,
God!
So
You went to the US and you went with $100.
yeah, that was 520 bills that time.
Wow!
So
Now this is inspiration, sir.
Thank
This
you.
is inspiration.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I went there that time on a working visa H1. Probably people know H1B visa to US. So those were the starting struggles. I would say that went on a that time salary of 36,000 US dollar in US. It was still but it was a challenging environment. As I said, I grew up in Chandigarh, went to Thapar and live in Chandigarh whole life with family and going out, and I was pampered at home because I just don't know anything about the kitchen and went to US, don't know.
So your struggles were the food.
Including those, right? So start with those struggles and then uh, got there the job and started the project and after around 5 6 months did great, means did really good thing. And so managers are happy, I'm growing. And then suddenly one day my boss told me, Anil, we are going to miss you. I said,
Huh?
I did something wrong. That, he said, you know probably that this end of month is your last day. I said, what? Why? And it was a white guy. And I said, what happened? Did I do something wrong? Or he said, no, I'm surprised and that you are not aware that your employer, in H1 it's a contracting, I was working. He said that we were clear that this is a replacement of a girl who's in maternity leave and she's coming back end of month and that's the you have.
God.
So that was my first thing there.
Wow.
And it was shocking. And one important part, just I want to say something with the struggle. Before the struggle, I would just want to mention 97 while left. I got married in 95. So that's a very important.
You took your wife or not? Where were the food troubles? Your wife was with you.
I'm going to tell that. That's a very important since we took the journey. So I got it, and I think that's one important part. I think probably maybe I know at airport we talk about the destiny, the luck, and
Yes.
the thing. So there was, and she probably is. Of course, I've been lucky to have my mom, my parents, my siblings, but she was another part of my kind of a lucky thing that's when I decided to go to US. So she's a one important factor happened in my
She
life.
was the pillar for you. She was that shoulder for you. She was the pillar who stood by you.
Yeah.
Right?
And when I went to US, so my daughter was born in 96. So when I decided to go to US, she was just 7 months old. So
you went with family.
No, that's
Oh,
what
you
I'm
went
telling you.
without
So
family.
without family, I went alone.
That's the food problem. And you have now 1 month to go. You have 1 month. You have a notice period. Oh my God.
So there, and by that time, so they came again with the initial struggle of the food and others. I couldn't, and more than food, it was staying alone. Never stayed it. So I called them. They were with me, but again, as I said, my wife, my daughter, probably she was born, but lucky charm for me. On how, and once I reached there, and when I heard about this notice and all, they were there. I don't know. I'm someone who want to share the joy with everybody, but I don't want to share the stress with anybody.
Wow.
That's me. That's so. It's difficult to tell them or tell India, my parents or my brothers, sisters that this happened. So I could not tell anybody. And that time now the struggle start. What to do? And happens. So then I start looking. People say go. You can work on the gas stations and all those kind of things come. But yeah, I mean, so there were two options: either pack the bag and go back to India, right, or find something. Going back wasn't kind of a good option, right? So one is going back. It's a giving up, and second, I left the job and again going back. It's not I have lot of back and money. So I decided to so find some job. Luckily that time again IT was coming up and lot of institutes, probably at that time when IT was coming, lot of institute open, people train and people get training and get the job. So I got a job. On H1 it was difficult. On H1 jobs were there,
Shifting
but H1
visa,
is exactly visa and so I got a job in a training institute. Not a job, it's H1 I couldn't do the job. So I did it like a part-time, getting cash paid so that I can earn my expenses of the family. So I did.
You had a wife and a daughter also
Exactly.
with you. Yes.
So I did trainings, Oracle, Unix, those are the things I trained that time. So 3 months, I live on that honestly with the salary there. It was just month to month kind of a thing. So I did, and then meanwhile I mentioned Satwinder, my senior. Is he was working in parallel to try to get my H1, and he said my H1 is transferred. So one thing with this company which I went, one thing I learned when my project ended, he said, Anil, you have to find the next assignment yourself. I said, what does that mean? I've never heard of. And but he with that I learned how to get the IT work. Okay, in US. So
the most important thing would be then how to get those sales, the clients.
exactly.
Right?
So he was a small person, but the way he said these are told me some of the sources, some websites and all. From there I started learning, and to me that's a kind of a basis for the business in US. So I got first project for myself, to be honest.
Wonderful.
So I got a first contract in US for myself. Once I got it, by that time he incorporated the company. He transferred my H1.
So the two of you, or
Yeah,
that third part?
just two of us.
Just the two of you.
Just two of us. That's a company today called 22nd Century Technologies.
Wow! So just for the viewers, how big is your company right now?
Right now we are over 6,000 employees in India.
6,000 employees.
And around 450 million in revenue.
$450 million. This is dollars in revenue.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So
it started with two people.
Yeah.
And you got that one order and you built an empire out of that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, that's how it started, and again, it's a same stories of starting from my garage. And when I started, I had probably same $100 or $200. I was in Michigan, and this first project was in Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut. So going there, I had a car, a leased car. I drove me, my wife, and my daughter from Michigan to Connecticut.
How long was the distance?
It was a 14 hours drive.
Oh my
So
God.
that time I didn't afford the flight, let me put it, the way to go.
Unbelievable,
So,
yes.
so drove the car to Stamford, and that's how the journey of 22nd century started.
Amazing,
Thank you.
amazing. How many children do you have?
I have two.
Two. So you had a daughter who was born 96, you said somewhere?
Yeah. And my son was born in 2001 in US, in Connecticut, Stamford. That's where I moved.
Right. So now you've gone through the struggle. You've now started building up. You've started getting contracts. You've started building up. It's building into things. How did now the mindset of somebody who's grown up in middle class to somebody who's rich today? It's like everybody, and you keep talking about the hard work and the grit, and you keep talking about giving back. I go back to what your parents, the influence of your parents and everything. How did that journey, now you're transforming from somebody who did not have money into somebody now who has money. So I'm sure the first things you would have, wanted or would have gone for would have been a nice house, would have been a nice car, would have been good education for your, young ones, would have been some jewelry for your wife. Were you also thinking exactly like somebody would from what I'm thinking? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination, of course. As I said, grew from humble family, and fortunate to have a wife who's not into a lot of show-offs. Okay, so that's a fortunate. She's humble. We still now 26 years in US. Still believe in culture, and I'm fortunate that we were able to group our kids in the same culture as India. Of course, the basic things of the food, the home are there. Of course, those are needed. We have it, but it's a humble, like not a big things, but we do have those. Of course, we were thinking, but part of this is this growth. To me, from the day one, as we grew. And important thing was to take the team with me. I always consider that as a family. My main circle in US is the people who work with me.
Wow.
People say they were employee, but I call them family member, extended family. But my family was here. To me, those were my family. I
Wow.
in initial days used to work 16 hours a day.
Wow.
Right. So they were with me. So to reach there, it's a hard work of.
You still have people with you who had started with you?
Yeah, they
Oh,
are.
wow.
There are people.
Is Mr. Satwinder still?
Yeah, we are still together. As an elder brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
it's-
Touch wood,
we
yes.
both are together part of this whole, we call it empire. But anything
Oh,
which
it
we
is
do-
an empire. Sir.
Yeah, anything which we do, we are still doing it
What
together.
what an amazing journey, sir. What a story. I mean, I cannot even think that if anything can be more inspiring than this. You started with a family of 6 siblings. Your father was a blue collar worker in Tribune right here in Chandigarh.
Yeah.
And you grew from there. You took your dreams to US. There were people with you. There were those your angels somewhere who were there with you. But now you've gone, and I would want you to now inspire others. You said you love giving back or something.
Yeah.
What can those nuggets of wisdom, what can you share with these young viewers who would be watching this? We're going to make this a huge success. I promise you, by the time we grow, we're a very small channel right now. By the time we grow, we'll be 1 million views on what you are talking about, So, what would you tell, youngsters? What is those, pearls of wisdom that
Yeah.
you give?
So, our key thing, I will start with saying that if I can do it, anyone can do it. You all can do it. The key ingredients are always similar for all the success. The first, the topmost is working hard. You cannot just get it without working hard. That is the number one ingredient.
Wow.
I call it, in two terms if I say it, I read a book by someone, I forget the name, but it was a success story of a lot of Indian entrepreneurs. The book title is Stay Hungry, Stay Focused.
Oh yes. Stay
So-
hungry, stay focused.
So,
Yes.
so I would say that is the key message. Stay hungry. When I say stay hungry for the success or the goal.
Don't
Well,
get comfortable,
Yeah.
and don't think without hard work you're gonna get those. Don't dream of things. You have to work for them
Yeah.
and be hungry.
Yeah. So work hard, stay hungry, stay focused, and don't settle. If you have a goal, just continue working for that.
Wow.
And I always say that too, and I participate, probably you saw that in a lot of giving back part of Thai universities and
Yes,
supporting
yes.
the Thai global university program and some startups. So there will always be obstacles, there will be hurdles, and there will be doubters. There will be people who will tell you can't do it, just give up, but don't give up. Perseverance,
Don't
focus.
give up. There will be people who will be, who might be the obstacles, but you cannot lose sight of your goals. The focus he's talking about,
Yeah.
the hard work, the hunger. Those are the pillars you need. And
Yeah, so and that's in summary, even with those hurdles, obstacles, like stay focused, work hard, perseverance, humility, focus, and the critical thinking. That will be the mates of this journey. And
wow.
I'm pretty sure that you will be successful. As I said, if I am, you will. Just
Wow.
stay focused.
Wow. I'm sure you guys absolutely loved this story. The story of Mr. Anil Sharma. What a wonderful, beautiful person you are, sir.
Thank you.
I mean, I can, by listening, being so close with you, I can always, I almost see your family. I can see your wife supporting you. I can see your children. I see your huge company, and I see warmth, happiness.
Thank
and I wish you that, sir. I mean, thank you so much for being on the Professor GT show. It's a very small channel, but thank you so much. I mean, We are
Wish
blessed,
you that,
and we
sir.
hope
Thank you so
have
much for being
a
on
great,
this.
great life
It's a
ahead.
very small
We wish you
channel.
the very best.
Thank you
so
so
much
much.
from the bottom of my
We
heart.
are
Great.
blessed.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Hope you
Thank you.
Thank you
have
so much.
Thank you.
Great,
Pleasure is
great,
mine.
great life ahead. We wish you the very best, sir. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Great. Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine.